So we want to have more guns in our classrooms, right? And the one thing we know about a gun in a household is that that gun is more likely to be used against a member of that household than it is against an intruder. So why do we think that a gun in a classroom might not, if the teacher forgets to lock the drawer, or of course she can't keep it in a locked drawer because the guy might come barging in at any moment, and so she's got to carry it on her hip. So what if, she's got it on her hip and she walks by and a student grabs it and pulls it out and starts shooting? I mean, why wouldn't a gun in the classroom be why wouldn't the statistics be the same? That a gun in the classroom would be more likely to be used against somebody in the classroom than against an intruder, just like a gun in the home is more likely to be used against somebody in the home than it is against an intruder. Noel Flasterstein is with us, attorney and host of The Gun Show. GunRightsForYou.com is the website. Noel, welcome back.
Thanks for having me on.
So what am I missing here? It seems to me like the only winners in this will be the NRA and the weapons manufacturers who fund them.
No, the winners will be the children, and the winners will be the teachers that now, instead of being in a legislatively mandated gun-free zone, which is designed to protect children, or that was the ideological thinking behind it, now if you have a shooter come to a place like the tragedy in Newtown, at least the teachers will have a chance to protect not only themselves, but the children that are under their care.
Columbine had 2 armed guards.
And you know what?
My understanding is they ran in the other direction.
Well, I guess they put self-preservation ahead of trying to protect the children. Obviously, where these mass shootings occur,
Fort Hood is where one of the mass shootings occurred. There were thousands of people on that military base. Hundreds of them were well armed. What am I missing here?
Here's what you're missing. First of all, you mentioned 500 children die in a year from gun accidents. How many children die in car wrecks and auto crash fatalities? So should we go ahead?
Cars are not made for the purpose of killing people.
Yeah, but they kill more people than guns do. So
But they're not made for the purpose of killing people.
A gun, if it's made for the purpose of killing, is so the individual who has a constitutional Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms is so he can protect himself.
No, so he can be part of a well-regulated militia to protect the freedom of the state. Read the Second Amendment. What are the first 15 words of the Second Amendment?
The Supreme Court has ruled that we, as individual citizens in the United States, have the right to keep and bear arms, whether we're in a militia or not. And that was not the intent of the framers when they put that in there. The entire intent of the framers when they included the Second Amendment was that we, as a group of people, as citizens, could protect ourselves from a tyrannical government if one ever came to power.
No, come on. You've got to. It's completely upside down, Noel. I mean, you go back and read, what is it, Federalist number 29? I mean, it's one of them. Hamilton went off on this thing. No, the whole point was to protect the government. What did George Washington do when a bunch of whiskey bootleggers decided that they were going to rise up against the government and refuse to pay their taxes? He got together an armed militia of several different local militias and rode in there and put down Shays' Rebellion, the Whiskey Rebellion, excuse me.
And let's look at James Madison in Federalist number 56 that acknowledged that one of the difference between America and the kingdoms of Europe is that Europe does not trust its citizens with armaments. Because our citizens were armed, it would not only protect the state, but it protects the individual people from the government. Now,
Madison does not say that in Federalist 56. You are making a wild leap of interpretation. The reason for the Second Amendment was so that we, the people, could defend the country, not so that we, the people, could take on the country. If they wanted it so that we, the people, could take on the country, they would have said the right to have a warship, the right to have a cannon shall not be abridged, because you can't take on a government without a cannon.
Well, you know what? There was nothing prohibiting us, if we look at the Constitution, from owning a cannon. And I agree. I think that the armaments that the American military is allowed to possess, we, the citizens, should be allowed to possess. Now, with that being said,
so you want to live in Somalia?
No, I don't want to live in
where you have armed militias that have surface-to-air missiles and mortars and shoulder-propelled rocket grenades and whatever you call those things, and in some cases even half tracks. I mean, you've got armed militias in Somalia that are probably 20-30% as powerful as the actual army itself.
Well,
you want that in America?
On what you're saying, then America should be able to exist as Somalia with armed militias. No, the intent of the Second Amendment was that we, the citizens, could protect ourselves from a tyrannical government if it ever came to power. You got to remember, our country was born on revolution, and if we did not have that basic belief that we as individuals...
Our country was born on revolution against a transnational corporation and the state that was defending it.
You're wrong. If you look at the Second Amendment, it basically says the security of a free state, being necessary, a militia being necessary for the security of a free state by itself means nothing.
Let me read to you from the Pennsylvania Constitution, and this is what the Second Amendment was based on. This is Article number 13 of the Constitution of the state of Pennsylvania, 1776. That the people have a right to bear arms for the defense of themselves and the state, and as standing armies in the times of peace are dangerous to liberty, they ought not to be kept up, and that the military should be kept under strict subordination to and governed by the civil power and exist as a militia.
And you said to defend themselves.
Yeah,
well,
I'm not arguing that you can't have a gun to defend yourself. What I'm saying is that, first of all, to say that the Second Amendment was put into place to give us the power to take on the FBI is historically wrong. And besides that, even if it wasn't historically wrong, it would be impossible today. And secondly, you're not going to have an armed revolution in the United States, and you wouldn't want one. We tried that in 1861, and it was a mess. It was the bloodiest war we've ever had in our history. We don't want another one. And so, A. And B, that the simple fact of the matter is that a gun in a home is more likely to be used against someone in that home than against an intruder. And why would that not be the case for a school? No.
Well, first of all, I don't know where you're getting your facts. I do know this.
Centers for Disease Control.
Well, I also know that the Centers for Disease Control also acknowledges and points out that more children die from drowning, more children die from car accidents than they do for firearms. And this is including the gang members, which, I don't know, we were necessarily...
Water is not designed to kill people. Cars are not designed to kill people. There's this thing called cost-benefit.
Ironic? Something that isn't designed to kill kills more people than something that exactly exists.
Because we have all decided that we actually want transportation, and we're willing to take the risk of 20, 30, 40,000 people a year dying. And by the way, the number of people who die in car accidents has decreased every year over since the mid-1970s when Ralph Nader got those first safety standards put into place, even though the number of cars and the number of miles driven has increased. And the reason why is because we've made transportation safer and safer. The same cannot be said for firearms.
And we have 300 million guns in private homes in America.
And we have the highest rate of gun violence in the world.
No, we don't. We have one of the lowest crime rates in the world because there's been a proliferation
I said gun
of
violence.
gun rights.
I did not say crime rate. I said gun violence. But no, we're out of time. Yeah, I think we've both made our points. We'll let our listeners sort out, what this is all about. Gunrightsforyou.com is Noel Flasterstein's website. He's the host of The Gun Show and an attorney. Noel, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.